Alrighty, y'all. Welcome back to the live stream here on the channel. Hopefully, everybody's having a great day today. See what we have in chat so far. We have Caleb, Legacy, Indiana, Caden, as well as Kevin and Lakeisha. Also have Haley in here as well. Glad to see you guys all in here for another stream on the channel. Also have Severe Weather, well, actually now Weather Tracker. I'm going to call you by your normal name, of course. And Legacy for becoming a member for a whole year now. That is, wow, a whole year worth of memberships right there. That's a long time. So, yeah, welcome to the stream, everyone, as well as everybody else who's just watching, not chatting. Let's go and dive right on into this before I screw something else up. Now, I did screw my computer up a little bit, so hopefully... Okay, we're all good. We're all good. I did screw it up just a little bit the other day. Kind of like Lucky did with his. Mine did the exact same thing because I pulled it up on Streamlabs. If you guys remember, members, if you all remember the that test I did with a new camera I got whilst quote chasing, that screwed up my Streamlabs on this computer a bit. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the potential for severe weather today. And of course, most likely and mainly on this stream, we'll be talking about our what is this, a potential tropical cyclone 5 out here in the Atlantic. I haven't looked over much, I'll be real with y'all. I've just really been taking a break from weather as a whole. I've kind of kept my eye on it, but I haven't really done any in-depth dive into model runs in the last week. And the last week I backed off from weather. Just before that storm chase, I started to back up on weather and really just focus on chasing that tropical storm. Me and Lucky ended up intercepting. So yeah, gonna have to try to get back in the swing of tracking things here. Just really quick, want to go to the severe weather out here in South Dakota. I don't think they're doing anything interesting. They're just some big hailers at this moment. We could have upwards of actually as high as 3-inch hail today. Although it's not likely by any means. We could potentially see one. You never know. So we'll definitely want to keep an eye on like this area back here as these storms move off to the southeast, closer towards like west central Nebraska. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on those storms. We'll also be keeping an eye on a sleeper tornado risk and a large hail and potential damaging wind threat as well out here in Oklahoma. That is a sleeper risk for severe weather. Currently, the SPC has not outlined a marginal risk at the moment or anything higher than a general thunderstorm risk due to the very high potential of us not seeing any type of well-built initiation out here. So there's a chance we have a crazy risk in Oklahoma today, and there's a chance we just have these thunderstorms pass through in Oklahoma and see pretty much nothing but some light rain and thunder. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and switch on over to models now. Actually, we'll change to our National Hurricane Center here. So here's the NHC's graphic. The closings for the Olympics been going on for like 3 hours. I ain't I ain't sitting there that long. So currently this is sustaining at 30 miles per hour with pressure of 1010, moving up to the northwest around 21 miles per hour. This is their 5 o'clock update, so they've actually done a 3-hour update for this. Typically they do updates at 8 and 2. That's both 8 p.m., 8 a.m., 2 a.m., and 2 p.m. So they've done one of their intermediate advisories here to issue that. PTC has formed now. Here's our cone of uncertainty. We'll go over to that. So you can see we now have tropical. I'm going to switch all over to this so you can see it a little better. So we have our tropical storm watches out in yellow. We will probably see a hurricane watch issued for Puerto Rico as well, because that is going to be right near the direct path of this eventual tropical storm and then eventual hurricane, maybe even a major hurricane as this goes up towards Bermuda. Obviously, I need some water because my voice is cutting out like a mic glitch over here. So yeah, this is a 5 p.m. advisory, like I said, Eastern time. They have it becoming a tropical storm here in the afternoon hours of tomorrow. And then forming into a hurricane in the afternoon hours of Wednesday. I do believe it could be just slightly before that. There's a chance it becomes a hurricane even as it leaves the northern Leeward Islands and then progresses up to the northeast. At the moment, we're looking at slowly intensifies as it approaches Bermuda, going from current forecast as a Category 1 all the way to a high-end Category 2 hurricane in the matter of about 30 hours or so. So that is, that's almost rapid intensification. If this is currently a Cat 1 here at 2 p.m. On Wednesday, that's their current point, and we'll probably see, if confidence continues to increase, we'll probably see an M for major hurricane up here, probably just to the south of Bermuda. And in terms of it impacting Bermuda, I mean, that's really, really, really difficult to tell. That's not really something you could tell until the storm is right here on Thursday. So on Thursday, we'll know if Bermuda's going to see those impacts or not as we go towards Saturday. So, yeah, we'll wait for some new runs to come through because Tropical Debits just did a full refresh. So, basically completely wiped out all of our model runs for 98L, I believe it was. And now it's going to bring in those PTC 5 model runs, and that probably won't happen until the end of the day. So we'll most likely be stuck with Weather Nerds and Radar Omega for the Hurricane model runs, but we have all the other ones, like normal. Didn't even see this. This is their rainfall potential. You can see the greatest rainfall threat is going to be probably over Puerto Rico, southeastern side of Puerto Rico. I don't really think we'll see anything significant for the northern Lesser Antilles. I could be dead wrong, but I don't see anything significant at the moment. I'm really paying attention towards Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as, of course, Bermuda as well. So, main thing that I'm keeping an eye on is Puerto Rico at the moment, because Puerto Rico, man, they've been hit by some bad storms. So, this could definitely be a bad one for Puerto Rico, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that intensification phase happens after this leaves Puerto Rico. Lucky was supposed to join me, but I am not kidding. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding when I say he has slept through stream. I'm not joking. I'm not trying to be funny because it's normally what Lucky does, but he has successfully slept through the start of stream. He said he would make it, but he's still asleep. Just something it's been a little while since he's done that, but he's actually slept through stream, and I can't believe it. So hopefully he'll join us eventually, but I have no idea. He might just stay asleep the whole stream. You never know. So here's the cone of uncertainty on Radar Omega. You can see the tropical depression. We're expecting a depression by the time probably late tomorrow. This is really tonight, but I'd say late tomorrow. And then a tropical storm by tomorrow afternoon. Well, I mean early tomorrow. Early tomorrow for the depression, like closer to 8 a.m. Not technically 2 a.m. there. I know they have it being a tropical depression at 2 a.m., but I really think it's going to take a little bit longer than that. I think it's going to become a tropical depression about the 8 a.m. advisory, and then we'll see a storm probably 2 or 8 p.m. It doesn't look that impressive at the moment. I don't really see how this would be classified as a tropical depression. It actually looked a lot better earlier this morning. It just doesn't look all that organized to me at the moment, but it looked really good earlier today. So we'll see if that organizes more to the point where it's a depression by very, very, very late tonight. So also, like I said, you can see they're forecasting this to be sustained winds of 110. That is just 6 miles per hour shy of a Category 3 hurricane by the time this is, well, I don't know how many miles south that is. About 330 miles to the south-southwest of Bermuda. And I do believe that it's going to have a chance at running towards a Category 3. I don't see it pushing Cat 4 at the moment. I know some of our model runs earlier today were very aggressive with that as well as last night. But I don't really feel like this is going to be able to make a... It might be able to make a run for like a mid to high end Cat 3, but I don't see this making a run for a Category 4 status. Unless this can do like a really solid eyewall replacement cycle, which I know the H-Wharf model had that north of Puerto Rico. It does that eyewall replacement cycle, then rapidly intensifies just southwest of Bermuda. But after Bermuda, conditions are, of course, going to become less favorable for this storm. It's going to be picked up by a trough, probably flung away from the United States. There is a chance it curves back and does a Lee 2.0, is what Twitter's calling it, where this system could potentially actually get curved into the United States from that trough ejection and potentially impact the Northeast. But I find that a very rare scenario. I don't think it's going to happen. But it's important to note that because few models are showing it. I believe the Euro and GFS showed it yesterday. We did just get a new GFS model run that I haven't looked at, and it shows some good news. It actually keeps this as barely even a tropical storm all the way up till Puerto Rico. You can see that here. This is this is the GFS's latest frame, 84 hours out. It's 1,000 millibar low pressure, which is probably a tropical storm, but no hurricane. So that's good news. That's on your newest deterministic GFS model run. Haven't taken a look at any ensembles. Like I said, I haven't really been paying much attention to the weather as a whole. I've been keeping an eye on really like the NHC and the National Weather Service, but I haven't really done any in-depth model runs. Just looking at them by myself here, and this is old. Let me switch over to this. All right, so here's your, we'll zoom out a little bit more. Gracious day. So here's your crazy GEFS model runs here, ensemble model runs. I'll actually zoom this out some more because I want you guys to be able to see the... There we go. That's what I was looking for. So you guys can see it. Most of these GEFS ensembles have it becoming a tropical depression within the next 24 hours, moving into the northern Leeward Islands as a tropical storm. And then some actually do have that rapid intensification phase on approach to Bermuda. And even if you have a very close call with Category 4 hurricane, very close to making landfall on Bermuda there. I don't think any actually make landfall. We could zoom in. Yeah, so that's Bermuda. And you can see nothing makes landfall on Bermuda there. We have a bunch of ensembles that go west and east, but none actually go right through, dead center of Bermuda there. So hopefully that is the case. A few of these keep it strong all the way even up towards near Nova Scotia, parallel of Maine and the New England states there. Like I said, I really think this is going to start weakening after it leaves Bermuda, if it even does impact Bermuda. So what I think is going to happen, this is, of course, my thoughts. I think we're going to see a tropical depression, like I said, right around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Tropical storm hits the northern Lesser Antilles, hits Puerto Rico, strengthens to a hurricane, and then this is where it's most uncertain. I think it's personally going to rapidly intensify into a mid-tier Category 3 hurricane and then have a very near miss with Bermuda, then begin to weaken and dissipate as it goes up here. So I agree really with the NHC, but I think that this is going to be able to rapidly intensify as it enters just south of Bermuda in the west central Atlantic. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that here. Did you look at the GFS showing massive tropical storm with multiple centers? I think I saw that, actually. Oh, the next frame is some Fujiwara type effect over here. It's that Fujiwara effect. It's where, what the heck? Okay, I guess we get a low pressure north of Puerto Rico. Our tropical storm south of Puerto Rico. That tropical storm hits Puerto Rico, merges with and kind of flings with the other low pressure, and then it strengthens. GFS logic 2.0 right there. I don't really believe that like at all. Um, we're just gonna have to wait until the 00Z because that ain't even believable. But it does have multiple lows with it. The 12Z had that as well, but not such a weird whatever phase that is. Also, the 18Z is running considerably weaker. Let me show you guys the comparison here between the 12Z GFS. So this is 102 hours out. You can see a 971 millibar, probably category 2 hurricane there on the 12Z GFS. And if you look at the 18Z GFS, it is a 998. So that is a considerable weaker tropical system there. And we'll see what the rest of this model has. We'll see if it brings it on up to the Bermuda there, and see if it pulls it out to sea, or if it does what the Euro did yesterday, pulls it into the New England states. I mean, it might make Bermuda's probably going to get tropical storm force impacts, maybe. That's a little difficult to say, but I'm going to go with a near miss now. Until we have, until we finish that turn. We got to finish that turn right here. So I really don't want to talk too much about Bermuda in terms of impacts, but if you're in Bermuda, or if you plan on going to Bermuda, if you're in Bermuda, I would recommend keeping a very close eye on this storm, getting ready to hunker down there in Bermuda as we go towards the latter half of this week. Currently, we could see a landfall in Bermuda right around the time frame of Saturday night. And I think we're just going to have to wait till Thursday. Late Wednesday into Thursday is when I think we're going to have a lot more confidence on it, if this is going to hit Bermuda or not. But Bermuda, I mean, I'd be pretty surprised if y'all don't see at least tropical storm impacts from this. Because Caden does have a point, even if the center, for instance, zoom in here, even if the center does go like all the way over here, those outer bands are probably still going to be able to reach Bermuda with some tropical storm force winds, flooding, storm surge. It just wouldn't be nearly as bad. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I'd really prefer to wait till Wednesday, Thursday to talk about Bermuda in terms of impacts. Let's go to our European ensembles. See what those have to show. Ooh, look at that. That is a category 4 there on the European. Still no landfall on the European there. You can see a very close one, but no landfall. Euro is quite considerably more aggressive with the intensity here. Still keeps it as a depression tropical storm north of the Lesser Antilles, or very close to Lesser Antilles, as well as Puerto Rico. Starts that strengthening phase east parallel of the Bahamas there, and then rapidly intensifies as it approaches Bermuda, and then keeps that intensity, I mean, well out to sea here, all the way until it's far past Nova Scotia there. So European model has it lasting a bit longer than the GFS ensembles there. Let's go to the deterministic European. I actually haven't seen this just yet. Unless it's still the 00Z. Okay, I have not seen this, so we're going to see this together. This one I am yet to see at all. So here is our low pressure. This is in 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Low pressure right here. That's our tropical system, potential tropical cyclone 5. European model, see what it does. It's going to take it into the northern Lesser Antilles as probably a very weak tropical storm. That's gracious calling that a tropical storm. And then slowly intensifying into a category 1, then a category 2 hurricane, and probably nearing a major hurricane as it goes just to the east of Bermuda. Keeps that category 2, category 3 intensity all the way until it gets picked up by that high pressure there. Well out of anybody's worrying impacts there. So this is far from any land. Definitely far from the U.S. and far from the eastern side of this map. I don't know all my countries out there. I'm not even going to try. Not even going to try. Europe also has 3 low pressures out here. Look at that. We have, you guys can't see all of that, but there's low pressure there just to the west of South America. Also 2 low pressures in the EPAC. Um, not that much in the main development region. I mean, you can see we have one wave here that the European has at the end of the European model run, and maybe a wave here as well. But really not all that much in terms of after this potential tropical cyclone. Really much to watch there. Looks like that first wave could be an issue, though. You can see that first wave. GFS also has it, so I'd keep an eye on that. Wouldn't be shocked if the NHC highlights very, 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 very low-end probabilities for that to form until we finally get closer to see if that actually becomes an issue or not. Real quick, see what the 12Z GFS has for that wave. So you can see it here. And it kind of just does nothing. I mean, it really just sits there. Yeah, it doesn't survive. Does not survive. It looks like it just vanishes. Vanishes pretty much. You can see the 18Z does have this potential tropical cyclone forming into a Category 1. Maybe pushing Cat 2 at that point as it moves up towards Bermuda. We'll see what the rest of this model has to hold. I don't think, yeah, we're going to have to switch on over to Weather Nerds now. So, bit of a flash warning for this because Weather Nerds has to load in each individual frame, which is pretty annoying. So, a bit of a flash warning really quick whilst I load this up. Let's see, we're going to do... Which one is it? It says AL. Okay. Like I said, this is probably going to be a bit more of a flash warning here because it's Weather Nerds. So this is your H4 12Z model run. Not really anything too interesting here. Tropical storm. Definitely a tropical storm for sure as it approaches the northern Lesser Antilles. Wow, even borderline, yeah, hurricane strength there. Look at that. That is definitely hurricane strength. Hurricane strength as it goes just barely to the northeast of Puerto Rico. Continues to intensify to a Category 3 hurricane there. And maybe even further strengthening almost to a borderline Category 4 at that point. Just to the northeast of the Bahamas there. Moving up towards Bermuda. Go over and see what our HMON has. This is your HMON model. See if it has anything similar. So strengthening... Of course, all the way up until the northern Lesser Antilles makes landfall or very close to landfall as a tropical storm. Strengthens into a hurricane just like the H4 has, and then continues to strengthen Category 2, Category 3 quite rapidly. Intensifies there. And maybe, yep, maybe pushes Category 4 status there too. That is the H4 again. I know that. I selected the wrong one, didn't I? Yeah, I totally did. HMON. There you go. That's why I like Tropical Tidbits better. Is this going to be the same thing? Tropical Storm, Hurricane, Category 2, Category 3, Category 4. Ooh, definitely. Look at that. That is definitely Category 4 right there. Just based off those wind speeds. Well, that might be like a mid to high end Cat 3, borderline Cat 4 still. Much better than the H4, though. A lot more... aggressive with the intensity of that tropical cyclone. Move on over to the HAFSA, which will eventually, I believe, replace the HWARF. Pretty sure they're getting rid of the HWARF model run. Gonna discontinue that eventually. Okay, so this is the HAFS. What is that again? I got to get used to the names. HAFSA. Okay, yeah, I was pronouncing it correctly. Barely gets to tropical storm status by the time it approaches the northern Lesser Antilles. Tropical storm just north of Puerto Rico. Hurricane strength to the east of the Bahamas. Maybe Category 2 there. Category 3, as those purples start to come in, that'd be borderline Cat 3 there. Just to the south of Bermuda again. Very common trend with these hurricane model runs. All of them have it strengthening quite rapidly after Puerto Rico. So that's going to be our main interest, is how much will this strengthen as it leaves Puerto Rico, goes to the north of Puerto Rico. So this is the HAFSB model run, keeping it at a tropical storm, then strengthening it to a hurricane north of Puerto Rico, and still Cat 2 there. And then finally those purples come in for Cat 3 intensity, and that's where our model run ends, again, just south of Bermuda, because we're just too far out to see what else models have that far out. Very common trend there. So we're definitely seeing a tropical storm. I'd be very surprised if we don't see a hurricane as well. And it's definitely going to make a run for major hurricane status. Definitely too far out to say anything about like Category 4 intensity. I'll show you guys the intensity model runs here. It's going to be this one. There we go. So here's your intensity guidance from tropicaltidbits.com. Most have this going into a Category 2 to Category 3 hurricane. You can see a lot of uncertainty there in terms of if this can actually get to that Cat 3 or Cat 4 intensity. But most models have it being at least a Category 2. Some of them, like this one, take it off just at the Category 1, Category 2 boundary there, wind speeds wise. And then 2 random, never heard of, not going to count them as outlier model runs. Has this just being a mid-tier tropical storm, maybe a high-end tropical storm at best. Those model runs must be, they must have a lot of biases, because that ain't going to happen. We're definitely going to see a phase of where this slowly strengthens to a tropical storm, probably on approach to the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico. And then we're going to see that rapid intensification phase to Category 1, Category 2, and then borderline Cat 3. And then it's probably going to decrease quite rapidly as it moves very far off to the northeast of, oh, there's Lucky, of Bermuda. Let's see if he's going to stream. See if he's going to call too before he streams. All right. Also, let me go ahead and show you guys the track guidance here. So this is your global hurricane models, and you know what? This is interesting. They don't go all the way out to Bermuda just yet, but there's still a lot of wobble room here for these models. You can see pretty tight spread, of course, up until tomorrow morning. And then they really start to spread out. Some take this further south, right into Puerto Rico. And others actually have a,
Tornado warning for East Central Herkimer County in eastern New York, Herkimer County in New York.
What? Now that wasn't on my bingo card today. Yeah, look at that. We got a, oh my goodness. Not CC. I don't want to loop CC. Let me go back to... Yeah, look at that. Definitely a solid area of rotation right there, especially for New York. Make sure you're seeking shelter there. That's dead east of Rome. I'm going to go and get an analysis radar on that, see if we had a debris signature. I was expecting South Dakota, maybe Nebraska, but definitely not New York. I was not expecting that. Why the heck did it take me to this radar? What radar am I using here? Okay, we'll use that one. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of hail contamination. I can already tell, which is why I need this analysis radar to see if this is going to line up. But that's a lot of hail contamination. This CC, that's some hail falling. I don't know what they have this warned for. About 0.75 inch hail. I'd be pretty surprised if it's not much larger than that. No notable debris signature, thankfully. So that's all hail, but there you go. That's definitely a tornadic thunderstorm right there. So we have a tornado warning in place now in New York. We'll go ahead and switch the scene for that. Not the strongest area of rotation anymore, but that was very impressive. Very, very impressive 2 scans ago. You can see the inflow here, outflow here. So that's winds going into the storm, winds going away from... the wind's going towards the radar, wind's going away from the radar, inflow to the storm, outflow as well. That CC is clear air there. Yeah, definitely nothing that tells me this is on the ground on radar. This is also tracking in a relatively rural area. You can see a lot of trees. There's some homes that it's already passed over near Coldbrook, but nothing of nothing like very populated out there. That's why I had the other software up, so that way if we got a warning, we'd know. All right, so here's your hurricane models or actually just all your model runs as a whole here for potential tropical cyclone 5. Like I said, most of these going to take it right through northern Lesser Antilles. A lot of uncertainty on if this is going to barely hit or make landfall on Puerto Rico. And they still stay pretty tight spread. That is a very tight spread here. So it does look like this is going to be, in Twitter's books, a fish storm. Because if it doesn't hit the United States, it's a fish storm. So this is a fish storm according to Twitter here. Even though very clearly, if you're in the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as northern Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, you want to have preparations underway now. Let me go and show you guys those tropical storm watches that are in place. Puerto Rico's not in any watches at the moment, but there's your tropical storm watches in place. If you're in those watches, make sure you have preparations underway now. Start preparing for tropical storm force wind speeds and potentially up to hurricane force wind speeds as well, especially if you're right in this area. That's where we very well could see hurricane force winds. That's where I'm most concerned for hurricane force wind speeds outside of Bermuda. I can't really tell if Bermuda's going to be impacted just at the moment. It doesn't look, it doesn't look like a direct hit to Bermuda, but we're going to definitely see some impacts for Bermuda. So, like I said, if you're planning a vacation for Bermuda this upcoming weekend, I highly recommend, honestly, just canceling it. I would personally recommend canceling it, but it's, you know, it's up to you. I just wouldn't risk it. You know, hurricane aimed right for Bermuda. Right for Bermuda there. Hold on. Did you guys hide that person? Okay. Let's not time them out. But, thank you guys for deleting those messages. I want to know, Calvin, why am I hyping up? What and how? How am I hyping this up? Tell me. A hurricane is likely to form later this week. Are you blind? Are you blind? Because we got a big fat icon that says a Category 1 and a Category 2 hurricane that will form Thursday into Friday. The thumbnail, hurricane likely. It's not likely. It is expected. I could up my title at this point. It's not likely anymore. It is expected. Hurricane likely means, you know, models are hinting towards hurricane. We got another tornado warning.
Tornado warning for East Central Yuma County in northeastern Colorado.
Yeah.
Yuma County in Colorado.
Oh, it's the troll. Well, you know what? We can definitely hide those. All right, banned and banned. Noted. That's the troll. One of my friends pointed it out to me. Well, that's very easy. So yeah, not shocked they warned that. That is a big hook echo there. 2-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. You could see a very definitive hook echo there in northeastern Colorado. This is very much capable of producing a tornado. Not a solid couplet. It's very contaminated, very bleh. Not really going to be able to give any analysis on that. It is in northeast Colorado, which is some of the best terrain in the U.S. In terms of chasing. Pretty sure. That's what I've heard. I haven't been up there, of course, but let's go see what that looks like from an analysis radar. Yeah, this is just a whole heck of a lot of contamination. But please be in your safe spot if you're out here in Vernon, Colorado. That is a storm very much capable of producing a tornado heading y'all's way. Also, 3-inch hail, potentially up to 3-inch hail. Currently warned for 2-inch hail, but you can clearly see the radar indicated 3. If we go to, which, by the way, this is actually pretty accurate. I found it to be pretty accurate. It says 4-inch hail. I wouldn't believe that. Like I said, because of the corruption. So we're going to go down. Wow. I mean, you can see the hail spike on that. Look. That is a wild hail spike. Gracious day. That is a wild hail spike right there. You can see all the CC indicating a whole heck of a lot of hail falling here. They did not upgrade that to destructive. Did they put it to at least 2.5? Okay, they still kept it at 2-inch hail, which I find very ironic, because I'd be blown away if this is actually producing 2-inch hail and not 3 or 4-inch hail. So definitely want to be in your safe spot, if not for the tornado portion, also for the hail portion of this storm. Ray, I recommend you seek shelter as well. You're in that considerable severe for 2-inch hail. Radar clearly shows potentially much higher than that. It is really good to note, radar is wrong very frequently, so we don't want to, solely base off of radar here, but radar says 4-inch hail. I'd be surprised if we're not seeing 3-inch hail. You can see a very, very clear, very definitive hail spike, which is indicating very large hail is falling. You can see very high DBZ, upwards of 80, well, okay, 70, 79.5. 79.5 dBz here in this color. And you can also see, if we switch on over to our correlation coefficient, you can see all the hail there as well in that lighter color, all back in this area. And then again, you can see the dark blue there indicating a hail spike as well. So very, very large hailstorm ongoing up here. That is a lot of hail ongoing. I'd be a lot more concerned about the hail portion of this than the tornado portion. This could produce a very weak spin-up tornado, but that hail that's a big, big storm for hail right there. Again, in northeastern Colorado. Alrighty, let's go back over to our storm in New York really quick. Didn't expect to be covering tornado warnings. Yeah, that is definitely falling apart tornadic-wise. I imagine they're going to just... They may even cancel that in about 3 minutes, but if not, it will continue to run till about, 6:45, I believe, if I did math right there, 6:45 Eastern. Yep, 6:45 Eastern. But they may cancel that before, because you can clearly tell that area rotation is gone. If we go back a couple scans, you can see it was actually very tight at one point, moving to the east, and then that fell apart rapidly. That looks like a cell merge there. Nope. Oh, it actually is. See that? It actually was a cell merge, so that's why this storm started to die out a bit. Oh my goodness. Kind of surprised that's not tore possible. Another big hailstorm up here in Martin. Southwestern South Dakota. I knew a lot of these would be big hailers. Not expecting a big tornado threat out of these. But we could very easily see a brief tornado up here. Very, very easily. Still have that very solid outflow boundary set up here near Vernon in Texas. So we'll see if any storms can initiate off of that. Probably not. I really don't think we'll see much up there. Out here in Oklahoma. It's possible. The environment's very favorable of it. I just don't see it happening personally. Oklahoma does things when you least expect it. Twitter is fully aware of a potential risk out there in Oklahoma. I'm obviously clearly aware of it as well. But now that we know that there's a potential sleeper risk in Oklahoma, it's not going to do anything. That's how it works. Okay, let me go back over to this one. Okay, I haven't seen the rest of this model run, so we're going to look at it together here. It's the GFS 12Z. Make sure you guys are on. Yep, you're on the correct scene. And, oh, that's a doozy. That's a doozy. I wish we could get a closer look here. Oh, whew. Yeah, that would not be good for Bermuda right there. Look at that. right in the dead center eye of a Category 3 hurricane, 966. It's Category 3 hurricane right there on the GFS direct hit for Bermuda. I don't know if that'd be complete landfall, but it probably would. Now, keep in mind, this is a deterministic model run. Long story short, meaning it's going to change literally in 6 hours. So there's no reason to take it seriously, but you do want to take into account the possibility of Bermuda seeing, tropical storm or hurricane impacts from this system. That is a very much real possibility, but a Category 3 directly making landfall right over Bermuda, exactly how the GFS says it, near impossible. Nearly impossible. Zoom right on into Bermuda here. Now we're going to be able to see it. Let's see. Wind shear. No, not wind shear. Not moisture. It's going to be... Ooh, what is it? Winds? Winds. There you go. All right, let's look at this. This is the zoomed-in version of the GFS 12Z from Weather Nerds. That's Bermuda. You ready? Bit of a flash warning here. Let's see how bad this gets. Calm. Nothing right now. Still nothing. Still nothing. It's going to be, what day is this? Tuesday afternoon. Still nothing. Nope, we're starting to get some very light purples. Late Tuesday. Now we're going into early Wednesday. Still not much to speak of. And Thursday, Friday, this is where we should start seeing it. Late Friday, there's some blue. Saturday, which is currently what we're thinking is the big impact day, there's some green for you. Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday morning. look at how fast that deteriorated. Look at that. And then boom. Wow, one frame jump scare right there. Yeah, that would be a near miss, but still very, very impactful system for Bermuda. Let's see if quickly go check this. Nope, he's still sleeping. I want to go see if Lucky was live. He's asleep. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, share this stream with the family, friends, social media, as well as subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'll continue to update you guys on a daily basis from here on out. We're going to do our daily streams again for this system. I don't think we'll be stopping it anytime soon. I don't have much planned in the near future. Just wanted to get a good recovery break in, solid 2-3 break from live streaming, 2-3 day break from live streaming. We did live stream that storm chase. I always unlist my storm chases. I might upload it as a video later if I have time to edit it, but that's 13 hours of streaming that I might have to go and edit. I don't think I'll ever get around to that, being real with y'all. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on these. Oh, you know what that means? That means the GEFS 18Z should be, yeah. The ensemble should be rendering now. That's 42 frames. Whoa, why is that so far south? Okay, then they start turning. You can see they take a sharp turn right there. Pretty much all of them are starting to take that sharp turn up to the north. That feels very far south. Hold on, let's go to the 12Z. Okay, apparently that's not far south. That just feels more south than I thought. Yeah, because we're expecting a potential landfall, like, up here. So, 18Z being that far south is something. Go all the way out here. I love how it always takes it back, yeah. That's definitely going more in the Caribbean on the 18Z ensembles there. Interesting that it shifted more south on us. Just barely. Might be a bit of double low action like Caden was pointing out, where we have a low pressure to the south and a low pressure to the north, and the southern one actually spins into the northern one. And begins to intensify. It's interesting. We shall see. All right, let's go back to those tornado warnings. We've really gone over all of our model data. We can fly through that stuff pretty quick. So I'll just do a quick recap on that. We may go through some of it again, but just a very brief recap for those who may be just tuning in or, didn't follow along completely. Tropical depression is likely to form early tomorrow morning and form into a tropical storm tomorrow afternoon or evening, progress towards the northern Lesser Antilles, just east of Puerto Rico, where it may become a Category 1 hurricane, and then as it moves to the north of Puerto Rico, it will most likely attempt at rapid intensification to a Category high-end Cat 2, Category 3 hurricane, then approach Bermuda as we go towards Saturday as a potential Cat 3. Maybe that will be where we push Category 4 status as it moves towards Bermuda. So, yeah, I agree with this cone. This is a good cone. We'll see if that one gets pushed back to here, and we're looking at a hurricane for Puerto Rico, or we'll also see if we can see a 3 icon appear up here for a Cat 3 to form. So we could see some pretty big changes to this cone of uncertainty. It does look like this is going to aim away from the United States. This is going to be more of a fish storm. Definitely not a fish storm. Fish storm in my book is where a storm goes like this. That's a fish storm. Where it stays just completely out to sea. It doesn't hit any islands whatsoever. Now, like I said, according to Twitter, a fish storm is something that doesn't hit the U.S. Yeah, they canceled that warning in New York. I thought they would. That was supposed to expire about 8 minutes from now. They canceled that early. One in Colorado, still in effect. Not a shocker there. Still a bit shocked on the hail threat being so low. Look at that. They dropped it to 1.75. I'm very surprised by that. I would not have thought they'd do that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We about pulled 2024 on this one. That's not good. Where is this? Let's see. So this is south of Ray. Yeah, I told you he slept. He slept through. We're going to have to watch this one closely. We may have a strong tornado approaching Vernon, Colorado right now. I don't know how many people are in this. I'll go check for y'all real quick. 240 people inside of this tornado warning. Yeah, this might be one that drops a decent tornado here. I wonder if anybody's on this. But that is a classic supercell. Very capable of producing a tornado, if not a strong tornado here over the next 30 minutes, if not a little longer than that. You can see the very classic, very classic look to this supercell here. Inflow. You have your forward flank downdraft, RFD wrapping around that. Your hail core is a whole heck of a lot weaker. So now that we got that new scan, I'm not surprised they dropped that. That's definitely a better call. But before, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they find some 3-inch hailstones back here. If anybody's even out there. Because that was a very strong hail core. You can see it did rapidly weaken. But at the same time that hail core weakened, the area of rotation actually strengthened quite a lot. We have a pretty strong area of probably near, I'd say, 100-mile-an-hour rotation there. I don't want to say it's 100, but I mean, if we take our inspector tool, you can see 77 with 13. So that's 90-mile-an-hour winds. So probably very close to... Oh, we just got a new update. on reflectivity. Probably very close to just barely under 100-mile-an-hour rotation there. We'll probably see this warning extended here shortly. My question is going to be, can that hook occlude? See how close that hook is to the base of the supercell? So your hook is right in here. And then, of course, you have your rest of the base of the supercell. But look how close it gets. The base of that supercell and the hook, I mean, it's almost already in that occlusion process where the tornado lifts and the hook goes back up and then it starts to die out. So we'll see if that occlusion process continues or not. Now, that is just pure contamination. That's just, don't even look at it. Contamination right there. We'll see. I may stay live extra just for this sole reason of a tornado about a touchdown out here in Colorado. We'll see what this next scan looks like. I imagine it's not going to look that impressive. Reflectivity? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're just going to wait, see what this looks like, and if it looks, if it looks solid, we'll stay live, do some coverage here. That's really what we've already turned this into, is a coverage stream. Look at that low pressure in Ontario. Look at that. That almost looks like a tropical system, doesn't it? Very clear low pressure right there. Almost looks like a tropical system just because of how it has so much rain around the low pressure like that. Pretty cool. That's definitely not tropical, by the way. Definitely not tropical. Welcome, Pete, to the stream. I know I'm very, very late. Pete, Jonathan. See who else is tuned in here. Isabel, Proxy. Glad to see you guys in here. Chip. Classic YouTube channel. And Brian. Glad to see you guys all in here. Ethan as well. Glad to see you guys all in here. I'm very late on welcoming that second group to this stream. I wasn't paying too much attention to chat. Up, still there. Still there. Now I can tell you this, the CC is going to be contaminated because not only are we a little bit further from the radar site, actually we're pretty good from the radar site, but the main issue here is the fact that it's got a hail core pretty much in the hook. So you really don't want to be using your don't look at CC and I'm sorry, I got distracted. Don't use CC in terms of looking for a debris signature with this one, unless it's a very clear CC drop. All this yellow and all this blue and green, some of that might be clear air, and some of that is simply hail. This right here is clear air. This is probably hail. This is probably hail. Probably hail. Probably hail up here too. So best just not to use, not to take the CC seriously, unless you start to see a very easy to spot debris signature on here. And in order for that to happen, we've got to have a strong tour.
Tornado warning for southeastern Yuma County in northeastern Colorado.
Freaking
Yuma County in Colorado.
Got some flashbacks with that name. Flashbacks for that name right there. Still radar indicated, no shocker there. Only way you're really going to be able to confirm this is if there's a chaser on the ground, or like I said, if there's a strong tornado on the ground, because we're going to have a big debris signature. These tiny little CCs like all in here, that's just hail. All that is hail inside the storm. Matter of fact, all of that's hail. Look at that. That is a lot of hail. This whole CC here, all this is hail. I think that is your clear air slot there. Yep. Look at that. Almost perfect. I did draw that little indent there, but almost perfect for where all your hail is falling here. I missed that little indent. The white line should be more like this. So you have that tiny little bit of clear air there as well. Also remember that hail can fall outside of the precipitation zone of these storms too, because of your updraft. We've seen it countless amount of times, especially with larger hailstones. For instance, you see very, very high-end DBZ. For instance, we'll just say 80 DBZ here, and then you get a 4-inch hail report, right on like the clear air slot down here. Or you have 80 DBZ here, and you get a report of 4-inch hail back here. Because that updraft, depending on what it is, sideways updrafts, they can obviously move hail further away from the precipitation core. So that's why the most common place to find hail, I don't really know exactly where it is, but if I had to bet, it'd be just in front of the hail core. So you see your hail core here. I'd bet that your biggest hail would be right down in here. If not, maybe just a little bit more north than that. Somewhere right where that updraft is. Very, very close to, if not in that updraft. This part of Colorado is south of Ray, north of Hale. So hopefully he is not inside that tornado warning. There is approximately, this is just an estimate from the National Weather Service, 181 people in this new tornado warning. So that's like near 60 some less than the other one. There's a very small chance your friend's inside that warning. Very small chance. These storms still seem to be hailers. Oh, look, they did add the Tor possible tag after I talked about that. Remember I talked about, I said I'm shocked this wasn't Tor possible. They actually added that. And so there you go. It's a Tor possible tag now. How was storm chasing in North Carolina? Not the most fun. There's a lot of trees, that's for sure. But it wouldn't have been fun if Lucky wasn't there. I would have had a not so fun time, but Lucky made it fun. With his totally great driving skills. Totally great. For sure. I can't get Lucky up. I can't get him up. This dude's gonna wake up, look at his phone, and he's gonna say like, holy crap, I slept an hour and a half. Man. Obviously, he should have scheduled his stream till like 8 or something. Still a decent area rotation. Now, just keep in mind some of this is contaminated, but we at least have a decent area rotation in here. Like I said, probably just under 100 mile an hour rotation. As long as we keep this pocket of blue, we're most likely going to have a potential for a tornado to drop. Now this is pretty, this is pretty far from the radar site, so it is slightly contaminated. But we have just such a good look on the reflectivity side of things. I'm very confident that this thing is rotating. I mean, geez, this is not a storm that wouldn't be rotating. This is the type of storm that you see drop big tornadoes. We'll see if this succeeds. Yeah, radar scope is just not worth it on computer in my personal opinion. I bought it back when I was first getting into weather, but really wasn't worth it. Let's see. Not much happening in Oklahoma. Looks like that sleeper threat ain't going to do much. These storms just staying clustery, linear, thunderstorms, so wouldn't be worried about much more than some heavy rain and some lightning as these storms pass through. They're going to be heading into a favorable environment, so, I mean, we'll see. There's still a chance they try something. Still got that pocket of blue velocities out here. So, like I said, still believe that is a very much tornadic storm. Until we lose that hook echo, that's what I'm going to be looking for. Until that hook completely disappears. It almost disappeared, but then it came right back in a scan. So, until we lose that notching right there, the clear air, the big inflow. I mean, this storm has some very large inflow there. It's probably going to stay tornadic until it loses that. Not to mention that if this storm, for instance, if this storm's not producing extremely large hail, potentially 2+ inch in diameter, as well as a tornado, then we also have potentially near 80-mile-an-hour winds with it as well, with that pocket of velocities. Just again, keep in mind, we are pretty far from the radar site. This is also looking further up in the atmosphere. So 80-mile-an-hour winds may be ongoing. I don't know how far are we looking up here. 80-mile-an-hour winds are probably ongoing 4,000 feet up, but at the surface, it's probably closer to like 70. What do they have it warned for? Okay, they have it warned for 60. We'll see if they up that. But I mean, it's kept that pocket for a very long time. We shall see. I think we had a reported 54 from it. Yeah, so we had a reported 54-mile-an-hour winds from a mesonet, reported 50. So, I mean, there's not much out here. There's not many people out here as well. So you're not really... I'm shocked we even saw a few reports from this. Oh, yeah, on... Oh, you're talking about the price of Radar Omega. I thought you were talking about Radar Scope. Radar Scope is like 3 times, if not more than 3 times expensive on computer than it is on phone. Radar Omega, all you got to do is pay a subscription for it, which I don't know which one's worse. I think I'd rather have just a one-time payment like Radar Scope has, but I don't think Radar Scope's worth it on computer. I think the most worth it software in terms of weather is GR2 analysis. I really don't think there's a software that can compare to GR2 analysis. I mean, sure, you got all the bells and whistles here on Radar Omega. Radar Scope still go-to storm chasing, but GR2 analysis will forever be the software I use. And like I said, Radar Omega, that's what I use for these briefings, talk about this. Look at some model runs now and then, show you guys the outlook, but GR2 and GR Earth, especially them two combined, I mean, geez. You really don't need much more. GR Earth gives you model runs, also gives you, pretty much near what Radar Omega gives you, and then GR2 analysis gives you way more high in-depth analysis than Radar Omega does. As well as some additional radar products that are much more high resolution and easier to understand. So, in my opinion, GR2, it's just like, it's not even a choice. Not even a choice. When I discovered the software, I was like, shit, take my $250, man. Now 89 people inside this warning. A lot less people. That hook is looking less and less tornadic. It doesn't really have a solid hook look to it anymore. Before it had a wild hook, then actually became a donut, then continued that hook. And now you could still see it, but see how it kind of has that jaggedy edge here? Whereas before it had more of, you could see it. That's still not a good example. Like, for instance, here. Right here, you could clearly see that hook echo. Clearly could see it. And now it's still there. It's just, it doesn't really have any of that turning with it. It's more of just straight, like this. It's not really like this, and like curving around, and then up and around like that. So this might not be as tornadic anymore on that new scan, at least. Yeah, they do use GR2 analysis, also AWIPS as well, but their main radar program is GR2 analysis, and it's very obvious why. Very, very obvious why. Let me refresh satellite imagery over here. Still getting some bursts of convection every now and then in potential tropical cyclone 5. Let me go look back at the U.S. I want to see what these storms look like on satellite. I don't know what mesosector this is going to be. Mesosector 1. Infrared products. So I can switch. I'm going to switch right to visible even though I just did infrared. Oh, it's still day, isn't it? Still day. Yeah, they look pretty good. Very easy to spot the most dominant storms. Where's that one in Colorado? Okay. Yeah, here you go. Satellite imagery. Very easy to spot your main storms here. Those are your 3 main storms. If we go to radar, you can obviously see there's one of your... Whoa, that one's getting crazy. So there's your bunch of main storms there, and then one main storm down here. And then, of course, there's one in Colorado. And then I did see the Oklahoma ones are starting to get some pretty good tops on them there on satellite. You see that? Texas, actually, soon to be into Oklahoma. Look at them. They're trying. They're trying to explode in intensity there. We might have a few instances of some gusty winds and some small hail out there. But currently, it's just heavy rain and lightning. But we could see some small hail and gusty winds as these storms move into that better environment. Oh, Lucky's up. Let's go see. He's up. Yep. Wow, shocker. Lucky's actually up. Gracious day. Took him long enough. Alrighty, well, we're probably going to conclude shortly. Oh, there it is. Yeah. 2.5-inch hail. There you go. I was just talking about potentially up to 3-inch hail with this storm. There you go. Just, wow. Right where I said it, too. Right in that clear slot. Right in the clear slot, just to the south and to the west of the hail core as it passed. So right at that updraft. I'm going to pretend to be shocked there. And the warning's for 2.5 now. Tennis ball sized hail has been observed by a trained weather spotter 5 miles east of Vernon. Of course, a tornado will also be possible with this storm. Oh, uh-oh. Look at that. You're losing your blues. You're losing your blues. So this is probably becoming less and less tornadic. But that, look at the hook. It's trying to come back. But you did lose your blue velocities, which is what I was talking about. So this is probably starting to rapidly weaken in terms of an imminent tornado. It could strengthen right back up, especially when you've got an outflow boundary like this. Pretty sharp hook echo. I mean, you're starting to get that good hook shape back. Base of your supercell all in here. It's still not the best. You know, you want to see it wrap around. It's still not wrapping around. If it had more wrapping like this, then I'd be a lot more concerned. But it's still really just kind of has that outflow dominant look to it. We might be able to see a severe storm or two in southwest Oklahoma. It's becoming a lot less likely with time, though. I mean, I still wouldn't fully rule out a sleeper threat there in Oklahoma, but it doesn't look as interesting as what it looked earlier this morning. Especially earlier this afternoon. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button and share this channel with your family, friends, social media. Help spread weather awareness. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button with the notification bell set to all. We'll be doing daily updates for the potential tropical cyclone 5, eventually going to be a tropical storm, and eventually going to be a hurricane, and potentially making a run for major hurricane status as well. So a lot of things to talk about with that system. Just to very briefly go over your severe weather to start closing out this live stream, just to quickly Ooh, also want to look at, before we go into severe weather, I want to look at those GEFS 18Z ensembles. See if they showed anything new. Let's see. Yeah, they went a lot more south. They have a lot better shot at a landfall in Puerto Rico than the 12Z. You can see a whole lot more of those ensemble tracks. Even a good batch of them go right into Puerto Rico as a tropical storm. Maybe even a tropical depression there. I just wanted to quickly show you guys the pattern here. The main area to watch for severe weather this upcoming week, definitely going to be the Central Plains. So if you live out in eastern Nebraska, ooh, let me change my pen color. If you live out in Iowa, eastern Nebraska, eastern Kansas, maybe even as far south as northeastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, southwestern Indiana, southern Illinois, going to be looking at the potential for a couple windbags out there. It doesn't look too concerning at the moment. It doesn't look too concerning just yet, but we are getting in that pattern phase here. You can see on the GFS model where we have a trough that goes by, and then we have that high pressure that builds in that sustains multiple days of severe weather potential over Missouri, all the way from Tuesday. Yeah, all the way from Tuesday to next Monday. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's live stream. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your night. Thank you, mods, for modding chat. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you can, on your way out, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. This storm in Colorado going into west central, northwestern Kansas, definitely going to be capable of producing a tornado for about the next hour or so. So stay weather aware if you're in northwestern Kansas, east central Colorado. And that is going to be it. I will see you guys in tomorrow's live stream, probably right about the same time, 5:50 Eastern. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your night. Stay safe, watch severe weather in the tropics, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch severe weather in the tropics. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's live stream. Have a great rest of your night.